You're watching Boston Celtics Today by Chat Sports. On today's show, we're going to be breaking down some off-season trade rumors for the Boston Celtics. A top 3 MVP candidate has been linked to Boston this summer. But first, go down, subscribe to the channel if you're all about the Boston Celtics. We are trying to become the #1 Boston Celtics YouTube channel. And if you're a real Celtics fan, go down, subscribe right now. Hit that subscribe button below if you want to stay in the loop with all things C's. I mentioned those trade rumors. How wild would this be? A possible trade for Joel Embiid. NBA Analysis Network says that the Celtics should trade for 76er center Joel Embiid this summer. And Embiid is a top 3 MVP candidate right now, having arguably the best season of his career. I think he should have MVP by now, quite frankly. He might not win it this year with Nikola Jokic kind of running away with it. But Embiid is averaging 33.3 points per game. I mean, that scoring production for a center is unheard of. 10.1 rebounds per game, 4.1 assists per game, shooting 53.7% from the floor. And in this trade idea from NBA Analysis Network, again, this is not my trade idea. I want to keep Jaylen Brown in Boston, but their trade idea has Boston sending Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams, and 2 first-round picks. Would I do that? No. However, if Boston does not win it all this year, it is title or bust for the Celtics, in my opinion. There is going to be significant change this summer, and right now we're seeing a Celtics team that is struggling. If they can't get it back on the right track, if they have an early playoff exit, then maybe they would explore maybe trading Jaylen Brown for Embiid this summer. I don't think they should. I think they should focus on locking Brown up. But at the same time, Jaylen Brown is a free agent after next season, right? He has not inked an extension with the Celtics yet. He's expected to maybe talk to the Celtics about that this summer. But Jaylen Brown is not locked up long-term. If he doesn't want to put pen to paper on an extension next summer, then you are going to hear, like it or not, the Jaylen Brown trade rumors really start to heat up again this summer. Now, do you want to trade for Joel Embiid? And in order to land Embiid, you're probably going to have to give up Brown, Williams, maybe some picks, I don't know. But let me know down in the comments section. Type T for trade or P for pass down in the comments. It is the pinned comment on today's video. So when you get hit with an ad break here in a few seconds, go down and let me know. I'll say this. I really like the Celtics core right now. I love the Jays. I think the Jays are going to win a championship sooner rather than later. But if you could somehow pair Joel Embiid, who is top 2 or 3 center in the league, if not top 2 or 3 player in this league, and Jayson Tatum, who in my opinion is a top 5 player in the league right now, that would be a lethal duo and one that probably would win multiple championships. So that's something for Brad to consider if the Celtics do not make a finals run yet again. I will say this as well when you're talking about Joel Embiid. I could see a world where he gets traded this summer, because you keep hearing from the folks down in H-Town that James Harden's coming home. So if James Harden goes back to the Rockets, Joel's going to be like, all right, I have no help here in Philadelphia. I couldn't win a title with James Harden. And this is obviously assuming that the 76ers do not win the title this year or don't make a deep run and James Harden goes back to Houston. But if those two things happen, Joel Embiid probably would express interest in a trade. I know that, he's, all about the Sixers, all about Philly, but at the same time, it might, he might look himself in the mirror and be like, I gotta make a change here. And maybe he will get traded. I'm sure the Celtics, if Embiid does become available, would certainly be interested in a trade for the 76ers center. Now let's talk about some Celtics injury updates ahead of tonight's game against the Portland Trail Blazers. You can bet on the game at BetUS by using promo code CHAT125 to pick up a 125% deposit bonus. So that means if you put $100 into your account, you're going to start with $225. It is a great deal. Got March Madness coming up. It's certainly a great time to take advantage of that deal we're giving you through BetUS. You can also bet on the Celtics to win it all. And the only positive about the losing streak is these odds are going down for the Celtics. Not too long ago, they were plus 200. Now they're plus 350, so there's really good value there. The Suns are plus 450. The Bucks plus 450 as well. Denver is plus 750, but they're fraudulent. And then Golden State is plus 1,000. I'm surprised to see the Warriors still top 5 there on title odds. As I mentioned, the Boston Celtics are in action tonight against the Portland Trail Blazers, trying to get back on the right track. The Celtics have lost 3 straight. Good opportunity to get back in the win column against a Trail Blazers team that is 3 games below 500. Not only have the Celtics lost 3 straight, but they're 3-4 since the All-Star break and 1-4 in their last 5 games. And this was a Celtics team that going into the All-Star break had been atop the Eastern Conference pretty much the entire season. But now all of a sudden, they're 2.5 games back of the Milwaukee Bucks. So there's some ground to make up there. But the good news for the C's is that Jayson Tatum is expected to make his return tonight. He missed the last game against Cleveland, which resulted in an overtime loss. He missed that game with a left knee contusion. We do not have confirmation as of now that he will return, but it does appear that Jayson Tatum is probable for tonight's game against the Blazers, which is huge. Robert Williams, meanwhile, is not going to play. He is out tonight with a left hamstring strain. He's expected to miss the next week, maybe even more. So hopefully you have some other guys like Horford, Cornette, Muscala that can help fill that void. Peyton Pritchard is questionable tonight with a groin injury. The Celtics have a lot of guard depth, not too worried about Pritchard's availability, but still, when you're on a losing streak, it's nice to have everybody healthy, so hopefully Pritchard is able to get back on the floor tonight. Who do you have tonight? 7:30 Eastern Time tip at TD Garden. Type BOS for the Celtics or POR for the Blazers down in the comment section. I think the Celtics are going to get back in the win column. I'm typing BOS for the C's, and this is kind of a must-win, and it's hard to call a game in the regular season a must-win. It's hard to call anything that's not a playoff game a must-win, but I'm looking at the Eastern Conference standings right now, and I really want the Celtics to figure out a way to get home court advantage throughout the playoffs. And you're not going to have that if Milwaukee keeps this up and you continue to fall behind. So it's very important for the Celtics to get back in the win column tonight. And you're facing a Blazers team that is not very good. Damian Lillard is unbelievable, but you've seen games where he's dropped 50 points and they've lost. So there's no excuse, even if Dame goes for big numbers tonight, to lose this basketball game. You have Jayson Tatum back. You have Jaylen Brown on the court with him. I get it, you're without Robert Williams, but you have Al Horford. You're hopefully going to have Pritchard. There's no excuse to losing this basketball game tonight. Now let's get into our last story. FanSided posted an article about 3 Celtics players that will be playing for their futures in Boston in the next couple weeks. And we begin with Peyton Pritchard. They're speculating that perhaps Pritchard will be a trade candidate again this offseason. Of course, he's a guy we talked about at the deadline. In fact, it was reported that the Celtics offered Pritchard for Jakob Poeltl in a package for Jakob Poeltl, and that trade was declined by the Spurs. Poeltl ended up in Toronto. So maybe Pritchard will be in rumors again this offseason. We've heard him say that he wants to have a bigger role on this basketball team, and he's kind of been buried on the bench right now after the Malcolm Brogdon trade. You've seen his minutes per game go down each and every single year the last 3 seasons. So we'll see what happens, but I do not disagree with FanSided that Peyton Pritchard, his future is a little bit murky in Boston, and if he does not contribute in a big way down the stretch, that he could maybe be on the move this offseason. Number 2 on the list is Mike Muscala. Mike Muscala is with the Celtics now after being traded by the Oklahoma City Thunder. And his situation is interesting because he's under contract next year, but his $3.5 million salary is not guaranteed. So we'll see if Muscala is back in Boston. I would expect him to be back if he's able to contribute in the playoffs. And then number 3, and this guy's certainly been in storylines the last couple of days, that would be Grant Williams, who, of course, went to the free throw line. All he had to do is make one free throw to give the Celtics the win in regulation against Cleveland. He missed both, even after telling Donovan Mitchell he was going to make both. And, Williams wants a lot of money. He wants $20 million per year He's not going to get that from anywhere. So we'll see if Boston makes a run at Williams. He is a restricted free agent, but Williams has to play well down the stretch to get the money that he wants, and if he wants to be back in Boston as well. Out of those three, who do you want to see back in Boston next year? Go down in the comments section. Let me know. I'd like to have all those guys back, but they got to contribute down the stretch. And we're going to continue to have you covered on the C's. Leading into the playoffs, 17 games left in the regular season. It's going to come down to the wire in the Eastern Conference. Hit that subscribe button down below.